Hi, I'm Julia from Julia Teaching Resources, and thank you so much for joining me in this video this afternoon, or this evening, or this morning, whenever you happen to be watching it. We're going to be looking at the elements of music and some resources and some teaching ideas for that. So let me share my screen and we'll get going. Here we go. So I hope you've had a great day. Mine's been a busy one, as usual, this time of year. So as I said, we're looking at teaching ideas for the elements of music, because this is actually what I get the most requests on is, okay, you know what the elements of music are, but you don't necessarily know how to teach them. So what are we going to do today? Firstly, welcome. I'm glad you're here. We're going to look very briefly at what are the 8 elements of music. We're going to look at what are the benefits of teaching the elements of music. And I'm going to give you a stack of teaching ideas, as well as some suggested resources to use, because you don't have to reinvent the wheel. I've got some stuff for you. So the 8 elements of music are, now depending on which one, like I call form structure, but this is in alphabetical order this way. So dynamics, form, harmony, melody, rhythm, texture, timbre, and tonality. Now behind me you can see a sign. Now I teach the 6 concepts of music, and for me, pitch encompasses melody, tonality, and harmony. They all come under the banner of pitch. Rhythm I call duration, so if I make a mistake and say that, forgive me. And form I usually call structure. Okay, and I should say timbre I refer to as either tone color or performing media. So it's the same sort of thing. They mean the same thing, just a different name. Someone somewhere along the line decided they needed to be complicated and we couldn't all have it the same way. But here we go. They're the 8 elements of music. So what are some of the benefits of teaching the 8 elements of music? Now, there's stacks of them, and I can't stress this enough. Kids understanding this makes them a better musician all around. So firstly, it increases their musical awareness. It gives an increased awareness and use of expressive techniques in performance. So if they can hear, or if you identify and show them this is what such and such is, then hopefully, or if they're hearing it in music they are listening to, they can actually add it to their performances. It also increases the awareness and use of musical elements in the composition process. Same deal. If they're exposed to different types of elements of music and different parts of the elements of music and different techniques and terms and vocabulary and all those sorts of things, then hopefully you've broadened their horizons, and they're going to put it not only in the music they're performing, but also in the music they're composing. It leads to increased appreciation for music as an art form. If nothing else, if kids, especially students, can appreciate the music they listen to through a different lens, or music they don't like and don't normally listen to through a different lens, and appreciate it on how the elements of music are used in that piece of music, as far as I'm concerned, I've won. Also leads to an increased tolerance of all music, and not just the music that is listened to frequently, which is what I was just talking about. Increased literacy levels, because you expand their vocabulary. Of course, you're going to expand their literacy levels, and also increased levels of enjoyment of music beyond the classroom. As a music teacher, and most of my classes, I do teach older students as well, but year 7, and if I can do nothing else but give the majority of those kids an understanding of the music they listen to, and to be able to enjoy music outside of the classroom, I've won. Again, it's winner, winner, chicken dinner, as they say. So sometimes it's hard to know where to start with the elements of music. And honestly, just pick one. It really doesn't matter. Just choose one to pick and pick one. So for some people, they might go, well, look, you know what? I'm going to just do dynamics, because it is pretty easy to do dynamics in terms of, sorry, I feel like something's crawling on me. Dynamics is how loud or soft the music is. So say you want to start there. Alrighty, it's pretty easy. When you're listening to a piece of music, is it loud? Is it soft? Is it somewhere in between? And there's a few terms to teach there. Now, of course, you can teach the vocabulary that goes along with it. But firstly, the first thing, choose an element of music to start with. Then start teaching the vocabulary. So you can teach the terms with memory games. Now, I've got lots of videos on how to use these music terms. Okay, playing memory, playing matching games, and alphabetical order. I love them. I can't get enough of these terms, and I use them all the time, no matter what grade level I'm teaching. And remember, I teach from grade 7 to 12. So you, if you teach younger students or older students, you may not do all the terms for all of the elements of music. You might just choose some depending on the age group that you're teaching. Idea number 2, teach the terms with one-pager element worksheets. Now, these ones, again, this happens to be dynamics, but again, just make the learning of the actual terms more interesting. If you can get them to actually do, filling out a worksheet that's just plain old lines. I mean, there's a place for those, don't get me wrong, because I use them and I've created them. Some kids respond to that, but some kids actually respond to the different shapes, and by adding color and adding, other bits and pieces and maybe some images to it. Again, these one-pager worksheets are really good for that. Another idea is teach the terms with a variety of worksheet activities and do them often. So again, one of the ways I actually use this is to simply say I'm teaching, at the moment, I'm teaching with my year 10s texture. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Just had to think then. We're doing texture. So I don't just teach the terms and leave it and then do some listening activities. You teach the terms and then you give them a little couple of lessons later, something else to go with it. So it might be a simple definition matchup. You might play it as a game. Okay, who can do this the quickest? Or work in order, or code breakers, or the unscramble the words. Again, just getting them to use the terms, find the terms, and doing different activities with them really, really helps them get that elements of music go from short-term memory into long-term memory. Another one, apply the learning of the vocabulary to listening activities. My most favorite way to do this, to any piece of music you want to study. So it doesn't matter what you're studying. Pick a piece of music, pick a concept or an element of music to teach, and listen, and just listen and answer the questions. It's as simple as that. Okay, now you can see here for that one's timbre. This happens to be on the top of the pile again for me, dynamics. But you can see here, these are the elements of music individually. I'd suggest you buy it as a bundle because you get a lot more bang for your buck. But in here, I give you glossary of terms, and all your terms are actually, in there. But also what I give you in here for each concept or element of music is listening pieces to listen to that suit this element of music, that use this element of music in a different way. And they're listening links. You just click on the link and it takes you to a YouTube video. But they're great. And then you can just choose a worksheet. So there's plenty of worksheets for listening. So if I've got worksheet 1 here, as you can see, I've got worksheet 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, I'll give you a simple thing. Worksheet 1, in each of these things is always simpler questions. They're the questions I generally use with year 7s and 8s. Question response 3 is the ones I use with 9s and 10s. And then I've got different sets for 11s and 12s, my older kids. Now, worksheet 2 is always a comparison using the questions from worksheet 1. And worksheet 4 is a comparison using the questions from worksheet 3. Every single one of these is set up the same way. But it means, though, you can actually choose lots of different things. And again, I'll give you also comparison pieces of music to use in those types of activities and lesson ideas. But this is the best way to use it. And it doesn't matter. You don't have to use the music I suggest. It could be anything you choose to use. Also, repeat listening activities often with different elements of music. So don't just get stuck on, say, melody or dynamics. Move it along. Okay, so teach the terms. Do a few activities with the terms, do listening activities with the term for that element of music, move along. Then I suggest you always go back and do a bit of spiral, like a spiral learning, and you maybe go revisit. So maybe, say I've been teaching texture and I'm going to move on to structure. When I'm doing structure questions, I might throw in a texture one, then a structure one, and then move on to the next one. And, you keep jumping back and forward so the kids are remembering them all the time. Another one is use them for small group activities. So a nice way for kids to actually get into listening and responding to music is to do it as either maybe part of a centre, as part of a small group. So it's not as confrontational if they're trying to do something on their own and the pressure of getting something right or wrong. Or again, you could do it as independent work as well. But, again, variety of ways of doing things. maybe it's a whole class activity. You can do that as well. I tend to do that a lot with my kids and then get them to do it independently afterwards. Another one with the listening activities, and you can see there's the dynamics ones, is maybe use them as part of a listening journal. So you might say, okay, work out, and you go, all right, I've got, with this class, I'm going to see them 20 times. Now I'm going to do 20 different listening activities, very short ones at the beginning of every lesson. So you choose all the worksheets you want to use. Okay, choose a piece of music, and maybe that's the way you actually do a listening journal for the start of every lesson or the wind down of every lesson. It's a perfect activity. But again, because these worksheets, these listening responding worksheets, can be done and used with anything, any piece of music, any time, go for it. And you know what? It doesn't matter. Sometimes like people go, oh, but you know, this one doesn't actually suit it. Sometimes the answering a question might be that there was no use of call and response, that there was no change in dynamics. It's still an answer. And it's hard for kids to sometimes realize that even if the music, you know, is mainly loud or soft, well, maybe it was sort of like neither. It was maybe in the middle. I don't know. You have to work that out. Maybe there weren't any changes. It stayed the same all the way through. Maybe it would, I don't know. Have a think about it. But this is a really good way to use a listening journal. And it could be a build up to maybe an assessment if you want to, which I think is what I've got on the next page. Yes, it is an assessment or assignment. So for my year 12 students, every year, I give them a listening logbook, is what I call it, an oral logbook, and they are given so many certain questions and certain pieces of music, and I say, all right, there you go. You've got to complete this, and that is your assessment. You can listen to that music as often as you want, and so I should get perfect answers here. I don't. Some kids I do. Most kids don't put the effort in and give me perfect answers, but it's a great assessment. You could also do it as an in-class assessment. So again, with my year 10s, this year, it'll be actually next term, we're doing these questions now, and I'll say to them, you're going to have these questions in the test. I'm changing the music, so you can't really study for it. So we just have to keep practicing it with different pieces of music. Perfect assessment. So again, if you were only maybe doing one to focus on melody, harmony, and tonality, okay, those three, go for it. And just go, okay, we're going to do a listening thing and do maybe 3 different pieces of music for each of those. Perfect assessment, in-class assessment. You might give them an assignment and say, okay, you have to find a piece of music and analyze for all the concepts of music or all the elements of music. You choose one piece of music and do every element. My phone's going off, ignore that. So another idea is use listening worksheets are perfect for differentiation. All right, so worksheets 1 and 2 are easier because, as I just talked about there, one's a thing and one's a comparison. Worksheets 3 and 4 are harder. And then the rest of them are even harder because they're focusing on things like unity, variety, and musical purpose and all those sorts of things, similarities and differences. Okay, so it just extends that ability on the kids a little bit more. So again, I always have lots of stuff for you to use because I don't want you to think that you've got to go and reinvent this sort of stuff because you don't. Okay, the Elements Music Bundle, this is my best-selling product. It's seriously the best-selling resource I've had in my store for quite a few years. I really haven't changed it much because the elements of music don't change. It'll probably get a refresh next year. As of recording, this is in 2022. 2023, I'll probably update a few things, but other than that, the elements of music don't change. The terminology doesn't change. The questions won't change. The things that'll change are the pieces of music you choose to listen to and study. So what do you get in this? All right, so you're going to get the dynamics listening worksheets, the harmony ones, the melody ones, and the rhythm ones. So dynamics, harmony, melody, and rhythm is those first 4. So you can see they're all books. They're all set up the same where you get lots of, you get the terminology, the terms, you get listening links to pieces of music to listen to, the listening questions, and some vocab activities as well. All right, so there's first 4 that you get. And then you also get structure or form, texture, timbre or performing media or tone color, and tonality. So we've got performing media, tonality, texture, and structure. Okay, so far 8 different resources in there. And of course, but wait, there's more. Because I love to add extras. You also get a whole heap of writing resources, okay, elements of music writing resources. So you're getting the music listening and response, listening and response worksheets. Again, these are very different types of worksheets that could be used while listening to music and responding to it in a different way. I'll probably have to do a particular thing on that one because there's so many different things. So I used to do what was called the Super Six in my previous school. So there's 50 worksheets in here. So one of them is, all right, light up your listening. Okay, for example, all right, light up your listening. So the music, just put that down. It says, as you listen to the music, write down any word that you need to look up and define. So you might be, you can hear certain things. So musical ideas, I don't know and need to define. And then you just add them around the page and then you then have the kids talk about it and define what it is. Okay, so let me just choose another one. Predicting. I like predicting. Before listening to the music, that's this particular one. All right, before listening to the music, predict what type of scene it would accompany in a film. Great if you're doing film music. Then visualize and draw it in the space provided. Discuss your ideas with a member of the class. So again, predict what it would be. Okay, draw it and then listen to it and see if you're right and have kids actually see if they've actually got it right. So there's a stack of things in that listening, responding worksheets. I said 50 different activities. Again, that can be used for lots of different things. So we've got that. We've got the 30 music listening writing prompts. Again, another great thing to add into a listening journal. Peel paragraph writing templates as well as the TXXC. Sorry, my school's just changed it to TXXL. So have it. There's the writing prompts, the peel paragraph templates, and the TXXC. Now I have to say, they are all based on the elements of music. So if I go to, say, the peel ones, for example, so what it has is you get the questions. Sorry. So I've just happened to go to texture. There's the texture questions, and you get the kids to answer it, whatever piece of music you're listening to. And then I give you a template on how to actually put it in. So you point, explain, example, and link. And it does the same for the TXXC. It's extended writing for the kids, extended writing on the elements of music. And again, another perfect thing to add into an assignment or an assessment. They're perfect. Who are these for? This is perfect for, can be used with any piece of music over and over and over and over and over again. One of the best things about this, I created this years ago. I use these questions and these listening exercises every time I'm teaching, okay? All the time, weekly, with all my classes. They're great for studying music styles and genres. So, it depends on what you want to choose to study. Great for listening lesson differentiation. So, for example, I've got some students in my Year 10 class who struggle academically. I give them the level 1 questions, and my other kids, I give them the hard questions. And they're still answering stuff. They're still having a go, but it means they're not thrown in the deep end as much. It's great for that differentiation, okay? Great for music appreciation classes or lessons, as well as assignments and assessments, and I've been talking about that. And again, it's a lifelong teaching tool. Honestly, this resource you will use year after year after year after year after year after year, because I have. And if I have, you can. So, or you could obviously go get the mega bundle. Now, I just need to tell you that this particular one, the Elements of Music bundle, it's about $50 in my store, which seems like a lot, but let's put it into perspective. If you used it once a week for a whole year, that's only $1 a week. Okay, and you've got 12 different resources in there. It's really good value. And then you can use it next year and next year and next year. So honestly, this is a resource you'll use forever. But if you want even more, because I was talking about the definition worksheets and I was talking about the term cards, that's in the mega bundle now. That is more expensive, but it's got 43 products in it. So there's a lot more in there. But again, that's even better value. So you can find, of course, all my classroom resources ready for you to use today over in my Teachers Pay Teachers store. Use the link in the description below, or just simply go to Teachers Pay Teachers and search GIA Teaching Resources. if you'd like a free copy of the Elements of Music mind maps, which I have not referenced today, but there's something that I use a lot. Again, they're featured on my blog, which I'll talk about in a moment, but you can go and grab some there at juliajulia.com/free mind maps. And if you'd like to know about anything Elements of Music, please go to my blog, juliajulia.com. I've got each of the elements of music broken down, all explained for free. Just have to go and have a look, and you can use it as part of your teaching resources. You can send kids there just to have a look. And honestly, that's what a lot of teachers do. They use my blog as a central point for teaching the elements of music. And that is it. So let me stop share. So until next time, I'm Julia from Julia Teaching Resources. And as I said, if you want to save yourself some money, as I said, you could get all these. Sorry, I can't even ban them out. There's too many other things. All those, oops, and those, all 12 products in that Elements of Music bundle. Okay, it is great value for money. Honestly, you can't beat it. As it looks expensive when you look on Teachers Pay Teachers and you look at other Elements of Music stuff, but this has got everything you need to teach it and to use again and again and again and again and again with your kids. Honestly, you will use it all the time. I do. But until next time, I'm Julia from Julia Teaching Resources, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.